So I want to ramble and share a little bit more about relationships. I think it's just such a great framework for seeing the world. And so to kind of have the foundation, there are really just so many different kinds, but either you have a relationship that is mutually beneficial. This is the plus one, symbiosis. This is kind of math stuff. You have the competition type relationship, which is +1 -1, where lion's hunting a zebra, lion gets food, zebra dies. Zero sum is a good term for that. So you have zero sum relationship where one person benefits at the other's expense, and then we have the sort of in between where we have +1 +0, which is kind of like the epiphyte on the tree, or like the remora, where we see that the remora might benefit from being attached to the shark or the whale, but we don't really see how the whale benefits. So just simple 1 1 1 0, and then +1 -1. But what I want to add is that I think there is another element to this. Sometimes math is too rigid to really capture life, and what it is that there can be a +1 +1 where there is a coercive element to it, and that's really powerful to me. So I'm trying to get us to shift this paradigm towards one of giving and thinking about how we give to a relationship, but we also have this +1 +1 that's so prevalent where we're focused on getting. This is the contractual relationship where it's like, yeah, we're both going to benefit, but I want those apples and you want my dollars, and so I'm focused on the getting of the apples instead of the giving of the dollars, instead of the giving side. And I think there's a paradigm shift there that's worth exploring, because we're so caught up in this idea that +1 +1 is always good that we're tolerating and allowing some really coercive relationships, like the stuff we legitimize out there, the stuff that government does, the stuff like that comes from a coercive nature that we allow and see as good just because we see benefit. And so what I'm trying to point out with this little ramble is that we need to also hold this framework of hold this, and this guy, yes ma'am. We need to also have this framework of seeing whether or not the relationship is one of a voluntary nature, because these +1 +1 relationships that involve coercion are always non-voluntary. There's this element of force. So force is not just relegated to a zero-sum relationship, a competition. I'm not just trying to win a game, but I can try and win a game by giving something, through the giving. So it's this hybrid relationship, and that left unchecked, or kind of without that, see, zero-sum relationships always get a feedback. All the zebra die, and then there's no more food for the lion. He gets feedback. But this sort of explosion in our culture, Western society, is because this essentially zero-sum, but essentially a coercive relationship, one that's not voluntary, is not getting the same feedback because it's being seen or promoted or is a +1 +1. It's a symbiosis, the farmer and his crops, but it's symbiosis without the voluntary nature. With that, like the farmer literally is just manipulating the living things around him. He's coercing the crops out of the field. He's not just giving to the land. He's not, it's focused on the getting, because that's the predator-prey. It's focused on the getting, the catching. So hopefully that made sense as a short ramble, and I think all we can do is see it. Then the whole thing changed. Once to see the cages, to leave it, to see the nature of the way we're relating to each other, is then to go, hey, we can change this paradigm and shift towards less coercion in our culture and society, and towards more of a voluntary giving nature. All right, you guys, thanks for listening. Peace.